The saying, "We don't appreciate what we have until we lose it," can be applied to many things in life. For some train conductors in Tulsa, Oklahoma, it was the friendship with a little girl named Rio, who waved to them every day from the window of a building next to the railroad tracks. 3 years after this unusual friendship began, the conductors noticed that Rio had stopped appearing at the window. A note was attached to the window that broke their hearts. Brianna Heffley Shepard shared a touching story on her Facebook page. "My family's business moved to a new location about 3 years ago. The store was located right by the railroad tracks, which meant that everything happening with the locomotives was clearly visible from the window. Rio loved this. The conductors noticed how Rio waved to them from the window, and they started waving back. Over time, this became their ritual. They would blow the whistle, she would run to the window, they would open their windows, wave to each other, and smile. I would tear up every time I saw it. Then, a few weeks ago, Rio went to school. The fact that she started school was harder for me than I expected. But it was even harder for me on that first day when the train came, and she wasn't home. They blew the whistle and opened their windows, but I was the only one who could respond. I stood at the window, cried, and weakly waved to them. The next day, I wrote a note. I simply wrote, 'She went to school.' I heard the whistle, ran to the window, and held up the note. That was 3 weeks ago. Oh, how I cried. This morning, a few minutes after opening the store, someone knocked on the door. It was a man in a bright yellow shirt with earplugs hanging around his neck. I thought he was the foreman of a construction crew who had come to talk about the renovations we wanted to make in the store. I was mistaken. This man came in to ask about the little girl with blonde hair who waved to the trains. He was one of the conductors, and they were all wondering what had happened to her. That day, the train was small, they stopped it in front of the store, and he decided to come inside. The conductors suspected that she had started school, but they wanted to confirm it. He said that her attention always lifted their spirits. For 3 years, they had looked forward to that moment every day. They missed her and wanted to do something for her. He asked if they could give her something. I replied that, of course, they could give her a birthday gift, which would be in a few weeks. This unusual friendship, lasting several years, was something incredible. The understanding that this affected them as much as it did us fills me with love and hope. Today's visit and their kindness to Rio reaffirmed my belief in kindness and humanity. I will never forget this day. This story is a beautiful example of true friendship, showing that even small things can have a huge impact.